Welcome to Inside Lake Forest. I'm Looby-Weber, your host, and today we're visiting at Reinvent, which is located on Wisconsin Avenue between Western and Oakwood, just kitty corner to Caputo's. Everyone is inspired by artwork in different ways. Let's step inside. Hi, Cecilia.
Nice to see you.
Thanks so much for having me here today.
Absolutely.
I'm excited to learn more about Reinvent, but first I'd like to know, how did you get into the art world?
So I went to school in San Francisco and studied advertising and account planning, but when I was 11, I went to art class with my business partner, Kristen. So we had done painting then, and had always dreamt of kind of building an arts hub that would give back to the community, that really helped us with our creative, path. So.
Great, super. And tell me what spurred you and Kristen to get together here in Lake Forest to reinvent this big space here, and tell me more about it.
So Kristen's mom's a real estate agent, and she actually found this space, and it had been vacant for some time, and she said, you guys have to see this and see if any ideas come up about it. So we had toured the building and immediately thought gallery, studio, and then eventually came up with the term innovative retail in this space, and really thought that it would work. Put plans on paper, and once that happened, the ball started rolling and it didn't stop. So
fabulous. Well, while we're in this space here, Cecilia, maybe you can talk to me about this innovative retail space and all the different forms of art media that you have.
So we have 80 independent artists, and of that, about 30 are directly from Lake Forest and Lake Bluff. And as much as we want to give the public an opportunity to see art in a fine art form like a gallery, we also wanted artists to be able to represent themselves in a different space as well. So we try and do as much as possible with signage and bios so that you can see, who the artist is. A lot of it's handmade, and kind of do an offshoot of the gallery. So we have all sorts of art that might not fall into a white wall gallery space. Lots of gifts and fine art handmade goods.
Great. Anything you want to particularly highlight that you have here right now?
Absolutely. So we have, actually, this is a funny story. Margot is a 17-year-old junior at the high school, and her mother had come to one of our gallery openings, and she said, oh, I make these beautiful necklaces, and she had made one for her mom and asked if she could have them here. And she brought in the whole display on her own and set it up in shop, and we've sold tons of these. They're absolutely beautiful, and they're definitely different, and we hadn't seen anything like it. So that was a great opportunity for her to start kind of showcasing her artwork and her jewelry.
Neat.
And then one of our other favorites is Gardner's Creations. This woman's daughter was in our high school art department show, and she said, oh, I make these gifts and kind of frames and stuff out of reused kind of twigs and stuff from her yard. And she has really become very creative with her jars and stuff, and she's been one of our top sellers, actually.
Neat. And you got there, you could put a nice little plant in there, or some fresh cut flowers, and give it as a nice gift.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. Well, it's interesting for me to look around and see so many different things. I mean, we're right here with this, dinosaur, and I know there's some other pieces that are kind of made of iron, and everything from some more traditional paintings and things. So it's definitely worthwhile for the public to come in and see the space on their own, because every time you look around, there's something new.
Absolutely. Yeah, we try and change up the palette as much as possible, and kind of switch around the fine art on the walls and make sure we have new and interesting art and artists pretty regularly.
Neat. And do your retail hours are what, Cecilia, so people can come in?
We're open 10 to 5 Monday through Saturday, and then Sunday by appointment.
Okay, great. So people can come in if they want to stop by, if they're visiting, and come and visit.
Absolutely.
Great. Well, I think I'm going to meet Kristen now.
Perfect.
And we're going to learn more about the gallery and the workshops you have here.
Great. Enjoy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Kristen. It's so nice to meet you.
Hi, thanks for being here.
I had the pleasure of talking with Cecilia about how you two partnered up, going back to age 11 in art class as friends. So I'd love to learn more about how you got into the art world.
Yeah, so like Cecilia said, we're both Lake Forest native. She went to Lake Forest Academy, I went to the high school. And then we sort of went our separate paths in college. I went to school out in Colorado, studied art there, and then after that traveled a bit in New Zealand, had an art residency there. Came back and was sort of trying to figure out the Chicago art scene, how I might fit into it, and then, it was just sort of a serendipitous, nice transitional time in both of our lives that this opportunity presented itself, sort of came full circle back, and then we found this space, and yep.
Perfect. Well, we're in the gallery space right now, and what I'd love for you to share with both me and the residents watching is what type of artists you have come in here, and we can maybe talk about this particular showing that we have today.
Sure. Right, yeah, so this is our main gallery. This is the former Conrad's Florist venue. So this was the florist, and what is now our media room is the walk-in florist freezer, actually.
Okay.
So now we're on our 7th show in the gallery. This is Phil and Paul Gator. They're identical twin brothers, and one of them works on one side and covers it up, and then the other one works on the other side. So it's a total double-blind sort of art experiment of how this weird twin connection sort of fits in. So we're actually closing this show on Saturday and opening up a new show with a Mexican artist, Augustine Portillo. So we've showed a variety of artists, established artists, up-and-coming artists, local, national, international artists. We opened almost a year ago to the date, May 18th, with the McMahon family, who's obviously very familiar. And then we've had Chicago artists. We had a visiting artist from Japan that was a resident in our back studio and worked towards a solo show in our main gallery. It's also a venue, you know, it's our space, and we have a lot of it. So we've hosted numerous events. We've hosted animals from Orphans of the Storm here, try to be adopted. We've had bank events. We've had people approach us doing sort of maybe yoga in the gallery or something like that.
Interesting.
Music events, and these women just had a sort of a trunk show, trade show.
Okay.
So yeah, it's our space, and we're totally open to ideas, and really want the community to utilize it as much as possible.
And I know my first time in your space was for a book signing.
Right.
From Libby Crouch and her doing that here, which was really fun to first kind of see the space, and it's multi-purpose.
Absolutely. We have their book on children's art parties in our retail space, which is great because we host art parties in the back too.
Well, let's learn more about the art parties and workshops, as well as maybe visit a couple of your resident artists in the back.
Great, that's wonderful.
Great. So Kristen, this is really neat to see this collection of frames and phrases and words highlighted. Can you tell me how you and Cecilia put this together?
Yeah, so depending on what artist comes into the main gallery, we get to take part in sort of how it's curated, and the front windows play a big part of this. So this particular piece is actually 2 separate pieces. It was a part of the Japanese artist show that I mentioned earlier, and the frames were actually donated to us from Lake Forest Frame Shop. So something that would have just been discarded, they thought, you know, maybe these girls can use them, and we did. So we sort of reinvented them into this art installation with art quotations, and now gets to hang in the hallway.
Fabulous. So now we're making kind of our way into the workshop space.
Right. So this is our main studio. This is sort of the raw industrial workspace where they used to build the floral arrangements. And now, so there's sort of 2 separate things that happen back here. We rent studio space to artists, so we have 4 renting artists right now. We have 3 painters and a jewelry maker.
Okay.
A few of them are here working, so hopefully we'll visit them later. And then we also host art workshops back here. So we have a panel of probably 10 or so artists that host workshops in our space. So there's a woman that does mosaics, another one does felting workshop, and then Cecilia and I host workshops ourselves. So we have a collection of them, anything from, we do ladies' night out, so there's colors and bottles things getting really popular.
Yeah, I love that you're doing something here locally in the community. I know that I've seen that like a lot in the city.
Yeah, so it's been really, really fun, depending on, you know, it doesn't matter what your skill level is, if you're an artist, if you're not, anyone can get a group together over a glass of wine and have fun painting. So we do that. This is a new workshop we put together. It's called Inked Glass. So you sort of prime the glass, and then there's this stuff called alcohol ink, and give it a little swoosh, and it ends up looking like this beautiful.
Neat.
Yeah.
Nice opportunity too for someone who's looking to be creative for Mother's Day gifts, birthday gifts,
Right.
thank you gifts, really any occasion to come in and be creative and learn, and then either keep it for yourself or
or gift it.
Gift
It's
it.
been a lot of fun. We've also done kids' arts parties back here too.
Great.
So we've had it's really fun. We put paint and squirt guns, and
so for parents who might want to book a party, how much notice do you typically need for something like
we're
that?
pretty flexible, and
Okay.
we want to cater to everyone's needs as much as possible. So if you have an idea about what you want to do, just come in the door, write us an email, and we'll put something together.
Perfect. And let's talk a little bit, maybe you can talk to me, Kristen, about some of our resident artists who are here and what they're working on.
Right, so this is Juliana Sheehan. She's one of our painters. Yeah, and she's also a Lake Forest native.
And what type of paint does she use? Is she working on here?
Mainly acrylic, yeah. She's sort of been very experimental in the last year, so she's gone from very abstract. She's done a lot of portraits and stuff like that. But it's been really fun seeing the energy and the synergy of the artists working back here. Actually all of them have been with us since the beginning. So over the course of the year, it's just been wonderful to see how their work's evolved.
Neat. And then this space here, obviously we have someone who's not here today, but I see their paintings are very different. And do they use also acrylics, or are they using a different type of medium?
Wendy uses pastels and some watercolor and a little bit of oil or acrylic too. She's now focusing on her commissioned work. So yeah, we actually have two Wendys. This is Wendy Cheney, and then Wendy Thornycroft, I believe, is back here working as well. Is another one of our painters, also a Lake Forest native.
Great. And again, same type of paint mediums?
Wendy works in oils.
In
mostly.
oils, okay.
Yeah.
Neat. And then you have a jewelry maker also.
Yeah, so Mary Mowry, this is her workspace here. You may have seen her jewelry in the retail space. There's a whole case of Mary's jewelry that's all hammered and torched and twisted and bent. Everything's handmade by her right back here in her studio.
So Reinvented is a place that offers gifts for sale, opportunities for people to come and take a class and make something themselves, as well as it's a home for artists to come and work their media form.
Right.
Very cool. Well, Kristen, I'd like to head back to the store front that you have and maybe show me some of the different art materials that you have for sale.
Sure,
so
absolutely.
For example, if somebody wants to create something on campus at home, they can come here and find all the necessary materials.
Sounds good.
Great. So Kristen, we're back in the retail space. And talk to me about all the different types of art supplies that you carry here for people to purchase.
Yeah, so in addition to all of our handmade goods, we also have some art supplies to help people in their own creative projects. So Helanders actually sort of passed the torch to us when they downsized to specialty stationery. They've been wonderful, and they've worked directly with us in getting us the right art supplies. So we've actually talked to the schools in our community too, saying what they need as a part of their supply list. So yeah, we have art supplies, and
can you tell me about some of the specifics that you have here?
right. So we have some moleskin journals, of course, all the graphite pencils, watercolor, colored pencils, erasers, some markers. We've just got a new shipment of stuff coming in soon. So
brushes.
Yeah, a little bit of everything.
And then a bunch of different types of acrylic paints.
Paints, canvases.
And paper.
Yep. Paper.
Neat. Now tell me, high school girls, junior high kids, what's one of the most popular things people come in to Reinvent for?
The glitter tattoos have been really fun. So Cecilia and I got suckered into these, and it's been one of the most fun and exciting things that we've done.
So I actually got one. And tell me a little bit more. They're waterproof.
Right, they're waterproof. They last for like 5 to 7 days. You can pick any sort of colors. There's a whole book of designs.
Neat.
Yeah, so in the summer we have a lot of fun doing glitter tattoos and face paint and all sorts of stuff.
Face painting, glitter tattoos, art supplies, the art gallery, the retail space, and in-house artists. Boy, Reinvent sure has a lot to cover. I also see some books and stationery, cards and things in the back, tons of jewelry. I think you've covered everything, haven't you?
A little bit of everything, yeah.
Well, it's been a real pleasure visiting with you both today. I want to thank you,
so
Kristen.
much.
Thanks, Cecilia, for your time. I hope that more of our residents learn more about Reinvent from our visit with you today, and they stop by and visit.
We hope so too.
Thank you for watching Inside Lake Forest. As you know, I've been visiting with Kristen and Cecilia, where they hope you can reinvent the way you choose and use art and be a forum of art in the community. Please stop by and visit them today.